Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're here again to run through some of the issues that are bothering the Muslims and even the non-Muslims. Now, the first issue we have here is, why doesn't Allah answer our dua? Now, there are two ways to answering this. But first of all, we should understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, call on me and I will answer you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given that blanket statement there and blanket approval to anyone that calls on Him, that He is going to answer the one that calls on Him. But yeah, there are conditions, there are etiquettes to observe. And one of the etiquettes here is the issue of ikhlas. When you call in on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Surah Al-Ghafir, Allah says, فَدَعُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ وَلَوْ كَرِيَ الْكَافِرُونَ. And call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, invoke on Allah and make religion pure for Him. Yani worship Allah alone and Allah will answer your dua, yani without associating any shirk. Under this, scholars have spoken that one of the reasons that will make one's dua not to be answered is when he is involved in shirk, Allah's disobedience that he has not repented from, and is in the habit of eating and even drinking from haram things and even involved in bid'ah. So whoever wants to call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should do so having sincerity of purpose, worshipping Allah alone and not sinning in his dua. The hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Sahih Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, your dua will be answered as long as you do not sin in your dua or you do not cut off kith and kin. And also the hadith of Abu Hurairah and Bukhari and Muslim, the lafz is that of Imam Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ said, Istajabu li ahadikum ma lam ya'jal. Yaqulu da'awtu falam yastajib li. The Prophet ﷺ said, the dua of one of you will be answered as long as he is not hasty in his dua. And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ was asked, what do you mean by being hasty in the dua? He said, da'awtu, when someone keeps saying, I've prayed and my dua has not been answered. So Allah doesn't want that, because it's like you feel that your dua must be answered. So now that it hasn't been answered, you are complaining that I've called and it hasn't been answered, because you are trying to make it look as if it is incumbent upon Allah to answer your dua. Now, as we have said briefly, the etiquettes, advance in doing good deeds, seek for Allah's forgiveness. فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا إِلَى آخِرِ الْآيَةِ. So when you seek for forgiveness, that is another means of your dua getting answered. But why? If you eat haram, you drink from haram sources, you put on haram clothing, then that is a minus factor that will delay your dua from being answered or even not being answered. But if you observe all these etiquettes from earning from halal sources, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trying to be a good servant of Allah, then when you call on Allah, Allah will answer your dua. The hadith also of Abu Abbas, Abdallah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, in the Sunan of Abu Isa at-Tirmidhi, Imam Ahmad also has it in the Musnad, that the Prophet ﷺ told Abdullah ibn Abbas, ya ghulam, the famous hadith. But he said, if you ask Allah. But the long and short of it is that when you remember Allah during the time of your prosperity, when you are in difficulty, if you call on Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer your call. I hope this does justice to it.